Okay, I'm getting the signal that I am live now. I'm going to turn on Instagram as well. Okay, perfect. All right, well, thank you all for being here. Anyone who is coming live, anyone who pops on as the live is coming up. As I mentioned, I had a weekly client reschedule. And so I had this free time, and I thought it's been a while since I've come on and done a live, so I thought I would do that even though it's a hair wash day and my hair looks a little wild, but that's okay. So I get a lot of questions about therapy intensives generally, but the other big thing people ask me about is search engine optimization. So specifically when it comes to how you're marketing yourself in our digital era, what are the best ways so that you can have your website get to page 1, page 2 of Google? Because obviously the higher you rank, the easier you are found, the more people can contact you and see if they're a good fit to work with you together. So because I know both of these areas really well, SEO and therapy intensives, I then get a lot of people ask, well, how do I use SEO to book more therapy intensives? So I wanted to spend some more time talking about that today for 15 or 20 minutes. So when it comes to SEO, like the basic things that you need to know that most therapists have no idea about because who has ever taught us is, what are people actually searching for when it comes to therapy? And this is more than just, couples therapy. This is more than just EMDR therapy, whatever it is. Those are keywords in and of themselves and they can work, but the best thing a therapist can do to rank faster when it comes to their SEO is to throw locations in there as well. So me, for example, one of my keywords is EMDR therapy in Seattle because that's where I live, that's where I can offer in-person sessions with an office that I have for my intensives. I also target other cities because I'm licensed in 2 states. So really thinking about what are these keywords that you are using. Is that trauma therapy, couples therapy, a specific modality, whatever that might be. But then the next question obviously I get is, okay, so what's ranking well for therapy intensives? And this is kind of a mixed bag right now. Like the term therapy intensives, really even just like therapists are starting to get to know it a little bit more in a little bit more of like a common way. And so there are a lot of people who still don't have any idea what a therapy intensive is, both on the client end as well as the therapist end. And so number one, you can offer extended sessions and not market them under the keyword therapy intensives. That's totally okay. There's a lot of therapists that I've worked with who have gotten more creative with what they're calling their extended sessions, if that is deep dive sessions, accelerated sessions, breakthrough sessions, immersive sessions. Like you can call them whatever it is you want ultimately. The big thing I want you to hear and take away is that don't rely too much on just the term therapy intensives to be a keyword. Now, that said, when I go into my Google Search Console, my website is hosted on Squarespace, so I can check my analytics there. When I look on those, I can see every now and then someone found me by searching for EMDR intensive near me, couples intensive therapy in specific city, or intensive therapy, or whatever that might be. So it is becoming more known as a term, it's becoming more popular. That said, I have no idea of knowing whether that's a therapist looking for that and finding my website, or whether that's a client looking for that and finding my website. So yes, for sure, use and play with the keyword therapy intensive, intensive therapy, whatever you want to call it on your website, but don't rely on that as the only way to bring traffic to your website, to find clients. Because there's so many other things that you can leverage on your website without just making it all about therapy intensives. Because think about too, when someone is looking for intensive therapy, if they know what that is, they're probably also looking for a specific modality, if that is EMDR, couples therapy, whatever that is. And so part of what I recommend to people is that they do have multiple pages for everything, that they do. So services, specialties, specific approaches like ACT, EMDR, DBT, whatever that might be. And so that can be really helpful, so that you are taking all of these different things that someone might look for and find you under and giving them the opportunity to find you. Because if someone is looking for DBT therapy, if someone's looking for brain spotting therapy, if you haven't optimized every single one of your pages for those keywords, you will not rank as high for it. Like, it's as simple as that. I've seen way too many therapist websites, because I see a lot of them, people ask for a lot of feedback on them, where even like they have one service page and the keyword that's all over that service page is just services. Like, that's never gonna rank for anything. It's helpful for clients navigating through your website of like, okay, this is clearly the services page, but if you have a separate page for, again, modality, type of therapy, approach, whatever that is, paired with a location, then you're going to have a lot higher likelihood of having that page found on Google. So that is really where I recommend using these components, so that your website gets to rank higher, and then more people can find you, and then more people have the opportunity to read about your intensives, to see what they're about, to reach out and ask questions. And that's how we work on booking more of those clients. Because again, if we're just using the term therapy intensives, if so many people still do not know what that is, then that can't be the only strategy for trying to get more intensives. So really take a look at your website and see what it looks like. Do you have one service page? Because if you do, like I said, I'm going to recommend you have multiple in there. And then on all of those pages, you want to make sure that you know what keyword you are trying to set up for someone to find you under. And then the next level after that is putting some kind of location in there, because all of those different pieces are going to help someone when they are looking specifically for something. And even if that's just a therapist in Austin, Texas, like if you have used that keyword, therapist in Austin, Texas, on your About Me page, you've increased your likelihood that that person's going to find you, as opposed to, you not being there at all because you haven't used that keyword. So truly and truly, what I believe is, yes, your branding and how your website literally looks, like, that's important. People take that into consideration for a level of like professionalism. Yes, your copy matters because people want to know that you get them and you understand them. But ultimately, those things only matter so much. They only matter so much because, if someone can't find you, they can't see how nice your website is. They can't see how powerful your copy is. And so we have to be able to have them find your website. So I want you to really think about, again, what do you do and how do you want to be found, and using those keywords. The tool I use most, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. It's just something, it's the way I learned it, and it's the way that I've dove deeper into to learn more about it. It's called Ubersuggest. If you have never used this before, you can sign up for a free 7-day trial, and you can look, there's an option to do keyword research, and you can look for what is someone searching for when it comes to trauma therapy. Are they looking for trauma therapy? Are they looking for a trauma therapist? Are they looking for therapy for PTSD? Like, there's so many different options of what we think someone is looking for and what they are actually searching for. So that's a really helpful tool to know what is going to be the most powerful way to bring someone to me. Because whether it's for these intensives, whether it's for your normal therapy sessions, again, therapists kind of have a challenge with stepping out of the clinical language sometimes. Like, I've seen some people try to utilize keywords that like a normal everyday client isn't maybe actually looking for. Like, some clients are looking for like therapist for perfectionistic high achievers, but not all of them are. But there are way more people that resonate with that than are searching for it on Google. So having like a therapy for anxiety page, having a page about like how to deal with overwhelm in therapy, like could be a blog post. But the point being, right, we don't actually know what someone is searching for unless we do the research around it. And so that one tool, Uber Suggest, is really, really helpful for showing you two key metrics. This is mostly going to make sense when you like see it. I don't think there's a way to screen share on this Facebook Live, and even Instagram Live is a little challenging. But when you see it, or whatever tool you use, there are ultimately two metrics. They're usually called something pretty similar to one another, but the one metric is search volume. So how many people are actually looking for this thing that you want to rank for? Because if I want to rank for EMDR therapy, Seattle, Washington, and 10 people in the past month have searched for it, okay, cool. So let's assume an average of 10 people search for that in my area a month. I've got the opportunity for any of those 10 people to find me and work with me. That's fantastic. But obviously, the higher the search volume, the better, because that means more people have the opportunity to find you. So there is even, this feels really funny and it feels really small, but there can be giant differences between like EMDR therapy and EMDR therapist. I've seen so often even just the difference between those two words can lead to significant differences in how many people are searching for that per month. And so looking at volume of here's this keyword that I want to be found for, what are people actually looking for? Hi Nelly, good to see you, Denelli. And so really thinking about that, there's the volume. We want the volume to be high. The other thing we want, so you should be able to see this in Uber Suggest, SEMrush, Ahrefs, whatever you're using. It's called something different on each platform, but what it's usually is search difficulty, or it might say SEO difficulty, or SD for search difficulty. And this is how hard is it going to be found for that keyword? Like, what are your odds of ranking for that keyword based on the search difficulty? So let's go back to this example of if 10 people searched for EMDR therapy, Seattle, Washington, but the search difficulty was, in these numbers, the lower, the better. So if the search difficulty was 10, then that means, okay, there's maybe only 10 people searching each month, but I've got pretty good odds of ranking for it pretty quickly. Most people, the metrics that you want to be thinking about and looking for are that 0 to like 35 or 36 on this search difficulty scale means it's pretty easy to rank for this term. So 10 search volume, 10 search difficulty. We're throwing out random numbers here. I don't know if that's the case for that specific keyword. Then I know, okay, great. Maybe not that many people are searching for it, but I can rank for it. So maybe that's going to be what I move forward with. Whereas if I instead used EMDR therapist, Seattle, Washington, and if that had like 200 people searching for it each month, but the search difficulty was 50, so right, that's a higher number, I can still use it. I can still capture the fact that there are more people looking for it per month, but it might be a little harder to rank for it. Like 50, I think the scale, I'm pretty sure it goes to 100. It means I've got a harder odds of ranking for it, and not that I'll never rank for it, but it's going to take a lot longer compared to if it was, if the search difficulty was lower. So that's a balance that a lot of people have to do between, I want a high volume, but I want a low search difficulty. So again, coming back to therapy intensive, that is the term that you are trying to rank under. Your volume might be relatively low, especially if you're looking for, if you want to rank for like therapy intensives Los Angeles or intensive therapy New York City. The volume might only be 10, 15, 20. The search difficulty should be lower because again, there's not a lot of people using that as a keyword right now. It'll probably change with time, the more people adapt this, so take advantage. But again, you're going to see trends probably of compared to advertising your couples therapy, your family therapy, your CBT therapy, volume for those things are always going to be significantly higher because again, more people know what that is. More people are searching for that. the piece you then want to consider and look for is that search difficulty number. So obviously you want it to be lower, so that's where adding the location in. So CBT therapy or therapist in San Francisco, that might have a lower volume than CBT therapist anywhere in the world, because anyone could be searching for that, but the search difficulty is generally lower, so you have easier odds of ranking for that. So again, coming all back, I know this gets real techy real fast, but coming all back to really thinking about how you want your website to rank better so that more people can find your intensives. We've got to start with, if you've got multiple service pages, great. Make sure you're optimizing all of those service pages for the individual keyword. So look up, is CBT, therapist, or therapy better for this city or this city? Like, what's the volume, what's the search difficulty? So you're looking at those two numbers, you're optimizing all of those web pages, and then, right, now someone, they may not know yet, again, what a therapy intensive is, or the fact that actually it's the thing that they've been wanting in therapy all along. So they may not know that yet, but your job now, they found you because they were looking for a DBT therapist in Chicago. They found you for that, but now you're going to use your website and that page to talk about, here's what this service is, here's what this specialty is, and this is where you start to introduce your intensive. So, right, if you want to move through your therapy goals faster, if you want to work on this in a more condensed fashion, if you feel like you don't have time for weekly therapy and that's been preventing you from getting in and seeing success, here's this therapy intensive option. Click here to learn more, right? So now you're getting that traffic, that easier traffic that you're getting because people know what CBT, family therapy, couples therapy, EMDR therapy is. You're getting easier traffic, and now your job is to direct them to your intensives page. Because if all you're doing is relying on the search keyword therapy intensives, and then maybe the next thing you're doing is, well, it's in my header, so people should be navigating it that way. Most people won't, right? Most people don't know what an intensive is. If you're using the word intensive compared to, again, like accelerated session, breakthrough session, stuff like that, people might get in their minds like, I don't know, like what's intensive therapy? Is that scary? Is that bad? Is that for like people who need to go to inpatient? There's too many questions when people don't know something, and if people don't know something, they're not going to explore something. They're going to look at your other services pages, they're going to see the things they know, and that's where I hear a lot of therapists asking me, everyone is still calling and asking about weekly therapy, even though I've got intensives on my page. Well, okay, then that's your job to not only have that conversation with them on the consult call, but again, direct them more on your website as to why the intensive is the solution, right? Or is at least an option. Because right now, if there's too many questions, they're like, I don't know what that is, that sounds kind of scary, they're not gonna go for it. They're not gonna click it just because it's on the header of your website. So every page should, in some capacity, mention it. I know I specifically have on my EMDR and brain spotting and my couples page, those are my main pages, my main specialties in my practice, I have a section for it. And if you're looking for how to do this faster, how to do this in a more condensed way, check out my intensives. I also have pop-ups on my website. So if someone lands on my website, I don't know how they found it, through a blog, through a service page, through someone shared a link somewhere, they're gonna get a pop-up that says, I change it every now and then, so honestly I'm not exactly sure what it says in this moment, but what it says is usually something to the effect of, like, I have openings for a therapy intensive on this date, or it's saying if you want to skip the wait list and move through your goals faster, check out a therapy intensive offering. So, right, pop-ups, some of us, we just automatically close them out. Some people are like, oh, what's this? Especially because not a lot of therapists, not a lot of therapy websites have pop-ups, so like, it does at least slow people down and think about, oh, what is this? Let me read it real quick. And some people are going to be like, that sounds awesome. Let me click into that and learn a little bit more. And some people are going to be like, I don't know what this is. I came here for a specific reason and close out. And that's fine, because the odds are at least you are slowing some people down and bringing them to that intensives page. So I have a pop-up, and then I also have a banner that permanently sits at the top of my site where some people might post things like accepting new clients or now offering intensives or whatever that is. Mine says the type of therapy and when I have openings for it. So mine right now says something like brain spotting and EMDR intensive scheduling for June 2025 and couples intensive scheduling for July 2025, because I only do one a month, because they're a lot of work. Intensives are a lot of work for therapists too. But again, the banner at the top, so that people are like, number one, they still might have that reaction of, I don't know what that is, but what they are seeing is specific timelines. And that is really helpful for people too, because how many people are frustrated with how long wait lists are. I had a couple contact me, I think this was 2 weeks ago, and they thought they were gonna sit on a wait list even for intensive therapy for like 6 months. I was like, no, I can see you in like 2 weeks. So it's helpful for people who know that they want to move through things faster to be able to, again, get that information of when can I expect to be put in. So you can put that in a banner, in a pop-up, on the intensives page, your contact page, wherever you want it. But those are really like the big points. So the 2 takeaways from all of this, I know it got real techie at different points, but the 2 takeaways, number 1, is to think about all of the search keywords you want to rank for. So not just therapy intensives or intensive therapy or any variety of that, not just that, but all of the other services you do. And then your homework is to very quickly look into Ubersuggest or anywhere where you can sign up for a free trial if you can, and do a little bit of digging. Plug in, intensive therapy near me, trauma therapy, couples therapy in your city or a city near you, and just see what has a high volume and a low search difficulty. So that's part 1, is let's really optimize SEO on your website so that people find you to begin with. And then number 2 is that point of, now that they have found your website, how are you navigating traffic to your intensives? So pop-ups, banners, mine's even in like specialty section on my homepage, on my services. It says, and if you're looking for this, try this. So direct people there as much as possible, because not as many people as you would hope are just going to go to your header, your navigation header, and just click on that and decide they want it. They're going to explore lots of other places in your website first. So that's really it. That's all I wanted to share today, because I know, again, these are big questions that I get all the time is, how do I use SEO to book more intensives? What are the best keywords for intensives? So in part, I'm saying there's not a best keyword for intensive yet. I think the more people do it, the more it's going to become a keyword. That said, don't let that hold you back from using it, because that does mean those 4 people that are looking for intensive therapy near me in a given month, they're going to find you if you're using that as a keyword. So don't just rely on it, but use other things as well, and then make sure you are pointing everyone in the direction of your intensives if that's what you're wanting to do and you're wanting to book more. So after this live ends, obviously the platforms are going to compress it into a recorded video. So if you are watching the recording, please feel free to comment on it. If you have any questions, anything that would be helpful to know, feel free to DM me as well if that's easier for you. But otherwise, thank you if you were here live, and I will look forward to chatting with you all soon and coming back for another live soon, probably in the next week or 2. My in-laws are in town this week, so busy time with cleaning and hosting and things like that. But thank you all for being here today, and I will see you next time. Bye.